3, 2, 1, start!
I'm making another game. Yo, what up? Before I say a single word about what's happening, you're probably wondering why the music/animation guy is posting a devlog. I can't answer that either, but the idea sounded really cool. Gala Eye took 1 month to make, if you even know what that game is, which if you don't, it's the first ever game that I made. And the process to do such was an extreme one. I wanted to make a devlog before on it, but never attempted to do so why not start now and give it a try? With that said, welcome to my first ever devlog for a recreation of a Roblox game. Now hear me out. The game was good. The game was basically just a small, cool little dexterity game, though it was a demo. Suddenly, it just got gobsmacked off the face of the earth. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, I didn't like that. Neither did the homies that played alongside me. It was then, about a few months later, that my 5 brain cells decided to do something about it and make it myself, and do it better. And that brings us to now, or more specifically, in the middle of the completion of the game already. Yeah, no, I didn't decide on the whole devlog thing until I got here because I was starting to get in a good daily workflow. So I focused on this video after getting some more progress on it, so this wouldn't be a completely pointless devlog. To make up for that lost content, though, I'm basically going to describe what I made today, and how I got to this point from the beginning, so hopefully that's cool. So let's take it from square one. No pun intended. Obviously, no game starts by holding your hand. We start from ground zero. Absolutely nothing. Except our undying motives and ideas. The idea, at least, was fairly simple. The game basically goes as follows. You play as a square that continuously climbs a never-ending cascade of steps. It's basically just an infinite staircase. Your goal is to climb as many steps as possible in a certain amount of time, specifically 1 minute. However, you must also alternate steps correctly. You see, as you climb, you have steps that force you to either go left or right. If you go to the wrong direction during one of these alterations, you get stunned for a few seconds, hindering your step count. And, yeah, that's the game. Or so that's all the original game was. There was nothing else special about it. It was a demo after all, but, you know. I plan to do more than that. Like, a lot more, hopefully. With our heads filled with an idea, now it was the time to act on it in some way. Now, since we need graphics to even place anything down, that was the first thing I did. I made a base cube and many other cool designed cubes and even a skull. Basically, the idea was to have skins for the game and create unlockables, which will hopefully be cool. Same idea with the stairs, though it didn't do that much for them. I was actually talking to a friend while doing this because this process of coming up with designs was a process that took a much more unreasonable amount of time than what I was anticipating. We came to the decision to literally just swipe from Geometry Dash in the end. I am a rhythm gamer. I didn't want to straight up steal though, but seeing that the icons were obviously taken from that of much more inspiration, I tried to think of things on my own using that as a reference. After we got like 18, 19 different designs for the cubes, and that was our player. We also had some stairs as well, obviously, so those were our first 2 objects inside the game. Now to the actual programming part. The first day of this had me absolutely clueless, like deadhead clueless. I had zero idea how to go about making this game work since it basically was just snapping an object from one position to another in instantaneous motion. Its functionality I had no idea how to go about since I've only ever made one game, which was Gala Eye, so very little progress was made that day. The actual cube moving part wasn't so bad though. All I had to do was add to its current position to update it the next tick and it would snap into place. Pretty simple stuff. The second thing I made was pretty fast, and that was the randomized staircase generation. All that happened here was that while in the radius of the player, so when a stair is near a player, a step that generates will randomly select between the numbers 0 and 1. Depending on its choice, it will randomly generate a step to the left or to the right, and boom, we have infinite random staircase generation. The real problem was detecting if the player was on top of a stair or not to tell the player that they made the wrong move and get punished for it. Since I had no idea how to make an angled radius sensor to detect a player, I basically was lost for like a solid 4 hours until I just started playing around with a few experiments to see what counts as a viable detection method. Most of them failed, so I just kinda gave up that day and waited for the next day. I woke up and later during that afternoon I tried to figure out how to continue, so I basically kept trying idea after idea on how to accomplish the sensor thing, until eventually I came across a pretty good out-of-the-box solution. You see, while I can't force the step to do anything to the player if it detects it, I can force the players to do something in the radius of a step if it detects it's on one. So here's how this works. Basically, I'm making use of a checkpoint system and a radius detection that's done by the player instead of the stairs. The player obviously starts on top of a step, so the sensor automatically goes off on the player. The only reason this sensor exists is to tell the player, to tell the player, hey, I'm on a step, no punishment, no stun. Each time you move while the sensor goes off, a checkpoint is created at the spot you landed in. This is to confirm that you made the right move when going left or right. This is so it can take advantage of the sensor on the player when it's not detecting a step. This means we can set off that checkpoint that was previously saved once by the player position that it's no longer on top of. So once that happens, you instantly teleport back to the step you were just on and get stunned for a few seconds. Because this happens so fast, you basically can't even tell you moved, so nice, that saves me some more trouble. It's slightly off topic, but you have no idea how proud I was once I finally figured this out. It's a simple set of formulas, but man, that was really rewarding at the time to get working. After that, it was mostly just working on the UI stuff, which was kind of fun. Got the timer up, got the counter up, got the input display up even, which I thought was a cool idea. You can use the arrow keys or the mouse. I also ended up getting a startup counter, which was an idea I came up with on the spot. I think it was kinda cool. I finally got to use Microsoft SAM in a game.
I am in your walls.
Nice. We got the SFX at a rough start using SFXR and added in some music I made as a placeholder for now. We added a background, did all the fancy little details and stuff such as camera stuff and secondary movements, and we get what you saw at the beginning of the video. With that finally now out of the way, I took in all of that I had made at the time and called that a day. Went to bed to prepare for the next time I started to work on it. A few days would pass before I made it to now, which is where I decided on this whole devlog thing. This is where the focus I had shifted more to the menus and other screens this time around, so the first thing I went to was the title screen. The name of the game I decided at the beginning would be Topper, and I stuck with that. Why Topper, you ask? Well, all you're going is up. So, yeah. We added a basic background, some placeholder text that will later be buttons to press, and yeah, we basically have a mock title screen ready. A lot of what I did up to this point was a lot of general detail work, the background movement, the button movements, the icon movement. It's mostly small stuff, but it's worth the work for the quality it gives. I kind of had a few of what I call shiny moments, where I got sidetracked and decided to try and work on other things when I couldn't finish. Or so, at least when I couldn't finish other stuff as quickly. But most of the focus stayed within the title menu. I did come into a problem that most likely will be resolved in another devlog if I ever do it, and that was the menu selection thing, surprisingly. So one of the things I wanted to do was have 2 game modes. Normal mode, which is called Race, and Lava, which is a game mode where you climb as fast as possible to get as far away as you can before the lava inevitably catches you. The way I wanted this selection process to work was like a drawer open style or a drop style method where you click play and 2 other options fly out of it, because that seemed like a cool idea to try. And it didn't happen in Gala, but this time I want to make it more interesting. This part was generally simple in theory, so what I wanted to work on was the toggling of this function. So you can close the drop style menu, which was where I ran into the next bigger problem for me. So what's happening here essentially is that clicking the play button obviously toggles it, but I need to toggle it back. The problem that happens here is that in the same tick, both of these toggles activate at once and break the system. And now both toggles stay on, so yeah. It's probably a really easy fix in reality, but that's where I ended up getting stuck. And I tried for like a couple hours with things that didn't really result in anything. I kind of just stared back at this until I figured I'd give it a go another day. Next time I'm going to attempt to tackle that and then work on the customization menu and finally put all those extra skins to work. And also add that obligatory color picker customization option. We should be on a good track after that. And that's basically where I left off as of now. Like, as of recording this, essentially. The customization menu kind of got some stuff in it as placeholders, but not really a lot. That was kind of one of the shiny moments, and I just went back to title screen working. Title screen is basically almost done, but that's the focus, so next time I make a devlog, that's hopefully what will get finished. And after that, we will do the rest of the menus, which I think I have like 5 more to complete, so yeah, that is that. I guess that's all for this devlog. Sorry if this was kind of lackluster or explained weirdly, or the video format is not something you're used to, especially from someone like me. I'm not really sure how to go about this. This is my first time doing it, so cut me some slack. I'm one guy. At least now you know what I've been doing. And, yeah, as you know, maybe more music will come out if you're interested in that. But, yeah. Devlog. Topper. Also shameless plugin. Gala Eye. It's on Game Jolt. Go play it. I guess that's it. See ya. I'll be there on whatever else I make.